Hey, real quick before the video starts, it's me, Toxic, from the future. I just want to let you know that the intro sequence you're about to see was a bit awkward in shooting, and I'm I'm gonna leave the entire thing at the end for you to watch in all of its awkward glory. Oh man, I just love bloopers. But anyway, let's get right on with the video. Sherlock, a British television series airing on BBC that provides 3 episodes to a season, originally in 2010 and most recently in 2017. The acting talents of Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman bring an old concept of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. John Watson to life in the 21st century and answer the question, what would the adventures of Sherlock Holmes look like in modern day? And for a time it was brilliant. What went wrong, you may ask? Well, just allow me. So you guessed it, from the title, from the intro, from the thumbnail, from the tags, from the description, today's video is about Sherlock Holmes the Hat Detective and what I think went wrong with it. So let's just unpack this bad boy. Now, from the very beginning of the show, my camera failed to focus. There we go. I'm not cutting that out. Anyway, from the very beginning of the show, Sherlock was a very stylistically done show. It would always accentuate the fact that he was trying to figure something out. It would show you his thought process. It would bring you on the journey so that you could arrive at the revelation at around the same time that he did. Let me show you a quick example of that. Later in that very same episode, he's able to predict traffic flow. Hang on to the word predict. I'm gonna come right back to it. The stylistic thing that the show went for somehow ballooned into. I don't have a clip for it, but there's a part in season 4 where he's able to take a woman through his mental process. She can see it. She's like seeing what he's seeing. It doesn't make it. It's like a superpower now. From a folded piece of paper, the way it was folded, he was able to figure out that it was in a book on a shelf that was in a certain part of the room and that they lived alone. It was just so strange. And in that exact same episode, he's able to predict the future weeks in advance while heroined out and kind of comatose. It doesn't really make any sense, at least not from my perspective. Maybe I'm just not smart enough, but I think it's a little bit bogus that he can predict exactly where people will be, especially people that he hasn't even met before. Stop running now. I'm already dead. Another thing that kind of killed Sherlock, and this happened immediately, was this MCU-style interconnected thing they were going for, where every villain worked for and reported to Moriarty. Let me just show you a little bit of that.
A name! Now! The name! Moriarty!
I can't take all the credit. Had a bit of help. Jim Moriarty sends his love.
Yes, he's been in touch. Seems dead.
You see what I'm talking about? Now, of course, not every villain on the show was connected to Moriarty, like Magnuson wasn't. The woman from the Six Thatchers wasn't. But it's still very silly that that there can't just be a criminal in London without it having something to do with Sherlock. Moriarty, I mean. Another thing about Moriarty that kind of killed this show is that they didn't know what to do with him. They introduced him and he was obsessed with Sherlock for some reason. He wanted to be the man that defeated him. for some reason. And then he went away in a really weird cliffhanger and came back and was so successful at destroying Sherlock that he drove him to suicide. Why was he so obsessed with him? Why are the writers so obsessed with Moriarty? They were so obsessed with him that they couldn't stop writing him even after he died. He came back twice after he died. It's so silly. Oh, so goofy. The fact that they didn't know what they wanted to do with the character, it just shows a very succinct lack of direction and understanding of what they want to do. It's almost incompetent writing. I personally don't think they should have ever killed him off. I think they should have made it kind of vague, like he got on a plane that crashed or something like that, not had him blow his own brains out, because if they weren't done with the character, they shouldn't have killed the character. And that's going to move me right on into a very large chunk of what this video is going to be. It's going to be about episode 3 of the 4th season, The Final Problem. Aren't you something to admire? Actually, real quick, I actually want to talk about characters like Lestrade and John and Rose. I thought they were... No, her name's Mary, I think, actually. I thought they were interesting, or at least Mary was interesting. I like that they were trying to make Sherlock into a human, but her character ended up serving no purpose, became really impressive and interesting, and then died. And also, I just want to point out that episode in which she died kind of brought out some of the worst detective work I've ever seen from that show. He could have tracked her with like an algorithm he knew, but instead he decided to just put a tracking device in the memory stick. Moving on to the thing that I actually said I was going to be talking about, though. So they set up the character Eurus by this like east wind phrase that Mycroft and Sherlock say. And they also have Mycroft slip up for the first time ever and reference a secret sibling, which has never happened before. But also Eurus was kept in this like island fortress called Sharonford and just escaped, made it all the way to England, pretended to be the guy's daughter and John's therapist, and just got back and just went back. Okay, why'd she send a grenade to the apartment if she didn't want to kill them? She wanted to have some fun with them. Okay, she was pretending to be a little girl making a call from where exactly? We were seeing her and hearing the little girl on the phone at the same time. And why does she have a microphone in her throat? Why does she have the power of corruption within 5 minutes of conversation? Why is it that they brought Moriarty back into the story and had him record a bunch of messages? Because he somehow knew that Sherlock wouldn't be dead? I'm pretty sure he thought Sherlock was going to die, and that's why he was willing to kill himself, because he'd be like, I got him too. Why did Mycroft agree to let Eurus talk to Moriarty for 5 minutes unsupervised in the first place? That's really retarded. And I'm sorry to use that word, but it's very retarded. And then, did Eurus talking to Moriarty kickstart his obsession with Sherlock? Is that why he decided he has to defeat Sherlock? Did Eurus plant that in him? That's some really bad retroactive writing, and I've seen bad retroactive writing. Star Wars episodes 1 and 2. But that takes the cake. That's awful. That's terrible. Also, why couldn't Sherlock know he had a sister? Why did Sherlock's parents never mention that he had a sister? What is any of that? That's all that is really stupid. How does she set up all these scenarios, like being able to call Molly from whatever phone and making the guys, like the suspects of the sniping, hang from ropes? And all the other things. She set up that coffin, all these things. How does she make any of that happen? They never even try to explain it, like, a single time. And then it's like, oh, Eurus plays the violin too. Alright, does that make Mycroft the weird one? And are we supposed to forgive my camera for not being able to focus? And are we supposed to forgive Mycroft for being such a terrible person? I don't really see how that's supposed to happen. I wish I'd stop getting Snapchat notifications. And another thing, why is he showing up on a boat like a pirate? I'm going to commandeer your ship. That's very stupid. Why is Mycroft suddenly Dana Carvey, a master of disguise? That's just silly. What a cartoon this has become. You mean to tell me Moriarty was able to record all those clips? Like the Darth Vader, Holmes killing Holmes thing, he was able to record all of that within the 5 minutes that he was talking to Eurus? Because that doesn't make any sense. Why did Moriarty be the one to talk to Eurus? Why did she want Moriarty? What did she care about Moriarty? Why do the writers care about Moriarty so much? Why did they have Sherlock and Molly confess their love to each other? This is getting old. Why did they have Sherlock and Molly confess their love for each other and then not do anything with it? Why did that go absolutely nowhere? How did Sherlock rig up that trap in Mycroft's house at the very beginning of the episode? Why did that go nowhere? Also, to reveal that Redbeard wasn't a dog, but was a human boy that was drowned in a well, all because it took Sherlock remembering that their father was allergic to dogs. He never remembered that in the past. These 30-something years, he never remembered, hey, Dad's allergic to dogs. We didn't have a dog. That can't be right. Mycroft, why do I ever know the name Redbeard? In general, though, I just think that Season 4 is what killed the show as far as writing and execution and things like that go. I understand their intent, but again, execution fell flat on its face consistently. Each one of those 3 episodes was poorly done, and I think it dragged down the quality of the entire show. I don't think there needs to be Season 5. Season 5 couldn't possibly make things any better. And, yeah, that's it. Later.